Hello, how are you doing? I'm great. We came back from Portugal 2 days ago, 3 days ago now, out with the bikes and stuff, and it was really good. The only thing is now I got a newer bike, which is not as tall. For before I had like a really proper like touring off-road combi bike, and now it's more a road bike. And because I've got such long femurs, like I literally have the longest thighs ever, which is not cool. It's really difficult for me to find pants that are long enough. Um, my knees actually got a bit burnt because they were close to the engine. So the last bit of the journey was painful. But yeah, fully recovered now. Still slightly tired. It's actually much harder to ride a bike than you would think. So we did 500 kilometers in one go, and it's just concentrating all the time because obviously in a car you can relax a bit, you can switch between you, but going on two bikes you have to be on 100% all the time. And obviously safety is first, right? When you're on a bike, it's great to have fun. I love like when there's big swoopy bends and so, but there's a lot of safety we have to take care of. I just got a new helmet and it was really tight. It was like squeezing my cheeks in, so I felt like a hamster. And just a lot of things to think about all the time. How you sit, the way you bend, like what gear you're in, are you braking, not braking? And anyway, so I wanted to talk about safety today anyway. That was kind of a nice slide in there. Because I'm seeing a lot, especially on LinkedIn and other platforms, about how people are creating safety at work for the employees. So like how can you employees feel safe? And I think that's great. I love that. Obviously, the more veterinary clinics can work on making the employees feel safe at any level, feel safe enough to, give feedback to your management or feel safe enough to stand up to your clients if they're not being nice and your management back you up and all that. Yeah, that's great. I do want to emphasize then that if you happen to be in a workplace that isn't safe, if you happen to be in a workplace that's actually a toxic workplace, you can't sit around and wait for the leadership to change. You can't just wait for the managers to open their eyes and realize they have to change something. You have to take care of number one first, and that one is you. You have to put the oxygen mask on you first. But when you're in a toxic workplace, just like being in a toxic relationship, you often actually don't realize it. And just like a toxic relationship can put you in a situation where you're being gaslighted or gaslit, the other person is gaslighting you, and you don't really trust yourself. You're like, something is wrong with me. I don't really know. And suddenly you're in this relationship where the other person is just belittling you and you don't really feel yourself anymore, and you get really you kind of disappear, right? You're no longer you, and everything is just not great anymore. And it's exactly the same in a toxic workplace. So there's 5 tips I want to give you, 5 things you can work on if you're in a workplace and you don't feel good. Because first of all, number one is trust your gut, trust your intention, intuition. And this is something I see a lot with clients that they no longer do. They doubt themselves all the time. They're at a point where they actually gaslight themselves into staying in places or into putting up with situations that are actually not right because they don't trust anymore what is right or wrong, what they feel is right and wrong. This happened when we're in burnout, overwhelmed, when we're stressed, when we are running on the adrenaline and our cortisol levels go up, and we're just in this state all the time. We really start to not listen to our gut instinct at all. We're just living in our head all the time, and we don't really know, am I being an idiot here? Am I being too sensitive? Am I being a, little flower? Or is it actually the place that something is wrong with? So I really want you to encourage you to take responsibility for your own situation. And I want you to trust your gut. If you're in a place and people are belittling you, or you feel you're being belittled, you feel you're not being respected, you feel that when you go home, you just have this naggy feeling that is not quite right. You feel like you don't belong. They make you feel you don't belong, that you'd feel they don't really support you when you have difficult clients. You feel that they try to push you to do more than you really can. They don't promote you. They don't when you feel it's due, and so on. Then trust yourself because you're probably right. Don't let anybody tell you that what you're feeling or what you are going through is not true or that it's wrong. Like, don't let anybody anti-validate what you're going through. Like, really trust your gut and trust your instinct. If something doesn't feel right, it's a bit like In a dating situation, if you go out for a date and something doesn't feel right about the guy, you're probably right. You should not go home with him, or you should not go down a dark alley with him. So the first step is learning to trust your intuition again. And for this, of course, you need to be able to trust you need to be able to feel what you're feeling. You need to be able to be in your body. You need to when that nut comes up and that those red flags are swaying, you need to be able to see them, you need to be able to feel them. So that's something you need to work on to be able to trust your gut again, if that's something that you quote unquote forgotten from just being in this action 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 in my head problem solving state all the time. The second advice I want to give you, both for if you're in a relationship, a toxic relationship, and also if you're um in a dangerous place and an unsafe place, in the sense that if you feel it's toxic, I cannot recommend enough that you take care of your physical form. I mean, I do Muay Thai, I do yoga, I do CrossFit, I do a lot of hiking, and I really take care to. I'm not saying that you have to be skinny and look good. That's not what it's all about. It's all about feeling strong, and also, for example, yoga helps me a lot to stand straight. I work a lot on my posture because I'm so tall and skinny, like gangly. To think giraffe. When I was a teenager, I it was not really fun to be higher than everybody else, be that tall girl. It's not really fun. So I was always like a bit hunched and a bit looking down and just trying to make myself look smaller. And that affects your confidence. It affects your confidence because you're making yourself small. And that kind of triggers into everything you do and the way that you talk. I don't know if you've seen this really small people. They just walk so straight and their chest forward and the chin is up because they're trying to appear taller, but they also come across much more confident. And this is not like a fake it till you make it kind of confidence, but if you can feel grounded, you know where your ground is, you know where your spine is, you know your spine is straight, you know your chin is up, you know that your head is up towards the skies and is not like looking down towards the ground. You are also able to breathe better because your chest is open. You're not like hunched like this. If you're looking at the video, shoulders forward, looking down. Also, you get neck aches all the time if your head is bent downwards. But feeling strong and also having that spring in your step, for example, I try to do like stretches, workouts, yoga, whatever it is in the morning to get me going. And it's not just to look good or whatever. It's mainly to feel good. And it's also, it just gives me that little oomph, the little spring in my step. Then when I walk into a room, when I walk into the waiting room, when I walk in to meet a manager, meet my colleagues, I am walking in with this attitude of I'm here, and I know I'm here, and I am worth it. As opposed to if you just roll out of bed and you just have a croissant and something to drink, and your slug is going into work and you're dragging your feet. It's just not, you don't come across with the same attitude, and people tend to respect you more if you can stand tall. And it doesn't matter if you're little or tall, or you're chubby, or you're skinny, or whatever you are, or what you look like. It's your attitude that comes through. And you obviously want to work on your confidence from within, but a lot of it comes with your body language as well. And your body language you can for sure improve just doing yoga or Pilates, whatever it is workout wise that you like. Work on your posture and work on feeling strong, and we're gonna be able to open your chest and come into a room with like, oh, like, because not only do people respect you more, but you also respect yourself more, and you might hesitate a bit before you let people belittle you or speak down to you. And the third thing, which kind of comes from also this a bit, is breath work. When we are in the adrenaline rush, we've been running on cortisol for a long time and we feel threatened, it makes sense that we breathe really fast and we breathe up here, we breathe up in our chest and in our throat because we are just, all anxious. And that makes us really reactive, but not as much observant. We don't stop to observe. We don't stop to double think something. We don't pause. We don't um stop to, do I really want to say yes to this, or do I really agree with what they're saying? We just go, yeah, 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 okay, 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 because we are breathing up here and everything has to happen fast. A way to slow down, which is also something I really learned from Jefferson Fisher, which is a lawyer. You can find him on Instagram, and he's got a really good book called The Next Communication. And he talks about that little pause when somebody says something insulting to you, or they're trying to belittle you and say something like, uh, let's say you come in 1 minute late or something, and they're like, oh, did we sleep in again? Or was the bed too warm for you? Instead of like, oh, rushing and say sorry and this and the other, just take a breath and just look at them. and let them sit with what they just said. I really love how he teaches that. Like, let people sit with what they say. And you can even say back to them, could you repeat that? Sorry. If somebody's saying something nasty or belittling to you, you can make them repeat it. You can make them sit in the silence in that soup of what they just said, and it lands, and there's no cover up of it. There's no quickly fumbling to say something to appear that they didn't say it. There's just like this silence. Or can you repeat that? Or did you really mean to say that? But you can't do that when you're breathing at 100 per hour and your breath is up here and everything is rushing. So breath work is so important. So when you feel you've been rushed into a situation, or even before going into work, if you get really anxious when you get to work, is the deep breath work. And there are several ways to do it. You can do the 4 4 4. So you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, let out for 4, and so on. There's the one I have a video somewhere and an audio as well. And I'm happy to, if you reach out to me, I'll send you the different links. There's a YouTube video with Andrew. I can't remember his surname now. He has one where you breathe in for like really slow, breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and you just go for 8. So there's different, that works really well for me. And also on the go, on the motorbike, for example, when I first started taking my license, I failed several times because I was so anxious. That was before I discovered coaching, and I actually ended up taking a beta blocker in order to pass the exam because I just could not get my anxiety levels down. And because I was so nervous, I would tense up, and just literally fall over. So now when I ride my bike, when I feel I'm starting to breathe fast because maybe there's a lot of traffic, I'm getting a bit stressed, or maybe I'm with other riders and I feel like we're going too fast or whatever it is, instead of just acting from that place of breathing fast, the adrenaline going, I make sure I pause and I breathe slowly. I breathe slowly. I bring my adrenaline levels down. I bring my whole sympathetic system down, and I calm it down, because then when I then react, I do it from a much calmer place and I don't exacerbate the situation. I don't start rushing more and more on the bike. And if I'm at work, I don't let that situation escalate, whatever's going on, whatever somebody's shouting, if somebody's being hysterical, if somebody says something, situations go out of control, whatever it is. Some places, I don't know, if they're like gossiping, if they're saying nasty things, or if they're not supporting you, and you're trying to address the clients and the clients are being rude to you, and the management is not going to support you because you're in a shitty workplace, then you want to stop, you want to pause, you want to breathe, and you want to just let them say what they want to say and just let them sit with it. If you're being rude to you, just let them say, oh, your vets are just all the same, all in it for the money. Don't try to argue with them. Don't try to say anything back at them. Just stand there and breathe and just like come back to yourself. Remember, to stand tall, we talked about before, and that also opens your chest, and breathe down to your gut. And that also will help you get more in contact with your intuition, with your gut feeling. So yeah, so if you have any issues with breath work and you don't really know how to work at that, there's a ton of videos. There's a lot of resources out there, but I'm happy to send you a couple if you just reach out to me and I'll send it to you. The fourth thing you want to have in your tool belt when you're in a toxic workplace is self-awareness. Because when something happens and there's some nasty gossip going on that makes you feel really uncomfortable because maybe you like the person they're talking about and you're seeing all these two-faced people all the time, or management talks to you in a way, or you ask for a promotion and you didn't get it and the excuse they gave you was just rubbish, and you're like, I don't really know how to handle this. Instead of trying to get home and escaping that sensation, escaping that uncomfortable situation you've been in, go home and journal on it. You want to get the situation down on paper and say, okay, so Betty said XYZ, and then this happened, and they said it because of that. So write down neutrally a bit like what happened, and then write down what you think about it. What were your thoughts? What was going through your head? What's going through your head now? And how does it make you feel? So come back to I'm feeling really uncomfortable now. I'm feeling really upset because this happened at work, and it made me think that, they don't like me, or they don't appreciate me, or they're just being bitches to each other, or whatever it is you're thinking. And by writing it down and becoming that observer of your thoughts, an observer of the situation, what's going on in your clinic, you get this outer perspective. And getting an outer perspective is going to be so much easier for you to see like, are you gaslighting yourself into staying at this excuse of a clinic and being in a place that's not appropriate for you or appropriate for any human being? Because some places can be like that. Or are you in a place where you're so stressed out that you're just taking everything so personally and you are a bit like oversensitive? No, like maybe it's that you interpret everything in a negative way and it doesn't have to be that way, Although I do say trust your gut, but also that self-awareness and having that outer perspective that you can give to yourself when you write things down. If writing down either in a journal by hand on a computer, or on your notes, if that's you're now getting stressed and thinking, I don't have time for that, you can actually do it by recording an audio when you're driving home from work. So it doesn't take you more time, so it doesn't take time from you. So you can record an audio and just talk into it. And then you can either get, there's several ways you can get a transcript of it, or you can listen to it afterwards and then maybe take some notes or just say out loud or think about how does it make you feel and do you agree with what you just said, but kind of in the calm and the safety of your own home. Make sure that you have a place at home where you feel really safe and have some rituals that can make you feel safe, and then you can kind of look at it face to face, no? So trust your gut, learn how to feel your intuition again by feeling your feelings and trusting your gut again, just like in a relationship. Take care of your physical form, whichever way you want to do that. Experiment. That's also a thing I tell my clients, like run experiments. And if it doesn't, I want to try CrossFit and then you hate it. Well, don't give up on working out. Do something else. Try Pilates, try yoga. There's so many different things you can do, right? So take care of your physical form, breath work and pausing both for yourself and the other person to realize what they're doing, and self-awareness where you're kind of analyzed after work what went on and getting a perspective. Those are the four things. And now I do want to recommend, if you're in a place like this, to either get a coach or get a therapist. I offer myself up for your service, but in general, having support if you're in a situation like that, unless you have a really supportive partner, that can be enough. But sometimes, because we know our partner loves us and we know they are there for us, like some of my clients have had really incredibly supportive partners, but because it's a bit like your mom, no, she loves you. So when she tells you you're pretty, you're like, yeah, no, I don't believe you have to say that because you're mom. Well, sometimes when our partner tells us, you need to get out of there. They are grinding you down. This is not for you. You just think that they're saying it out of own interest, or you may think that they say that because they believe in you and they believe you're great, but everybody at work tell you you're not, so surely they're right. Having a therapist or a coach that can literally say back to you what you're saying and have that space where you could tell your story and just feel stupid, feel silly, feel like an idiot, and you don't know where I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to say what I'm feeling. Um, and also with a partner or with a family, you don't want to upset them. You don't want to tell them how bad you're feeling because you don't want them to be in a position where they now feel bad and now they have to try and fix you and they're going to be upset and now you made them upset. So that's why another person, so a therapist or coach, can help because if you come to me upset, I like you're not going to upset me. Of course I can be sad for you. You can be like, okay, that sucks, but it's not the same as if I'm the person that loves you and live with you. It's not the same, right? So that's having an external person that is neutral, and you can come with your doubts and you can come with, this is what happened, this is my story, this is what I think happened, what do you think, and it's not like I'm going to tell you, well, I think your boss was right, but I can just question what is going on, and then we can talk about it together. And often what happens then is that as soon as I can say, but why did you feel like that, and then you explain it, and then I can see people when I do this, and I do it myself as well when I get coached. Well, when we get coached like this, we go like, oh, I can actually hear that what I'm trying to explain to you, it's so rubbish. Like, of course I'm right, of course, like I'm trying to explain away the way this guy was an idiot or the way I was treated, or I'm trying to give excuses for why, my colleagues are horrible to me. But when you actually have to explain it, because a therapist or coach will often, it's not that we play stupid, but we genuinely don't know exactly what you mean because I don't know you. So if you say to me, Oh, I'm just so tired and this and the other because my boss was horrible to me at work. I have no idea what you mean by that. I don't know. Did he smack you around? Did he lock you up in a basement? Or did he just refuse to pay for your pizza? I don't know. When you're telling me your boss is horrible. So you're going to have to explain it to me. And by explaining it to me, you then have a much clearer picture of what is going on. It's a bit like, for example, if you have to explain something to somebody else, if you have to explain a procedure, if you have to explain math to someone, by explaining it, by teaching it to others, you get a much better picture. You understand it much better yourself because in order to teach it, you have to get a better understanding. If somebody asks you, can you just explain Cushing's to me? I don't really know it. I'll probably have to like just quickly look it up again to make sure I'm saying the right thing. And then explaining it, suddenly it gets much clearer to me as well. But it's the same when you go to a therapist or coach, and then you say to me, my boss was horrible. I don't know what you mean. Did he slap you around? Did he not pay for your pizza? Did he refuse to? I don't know, whatever it is. And then you're like, no, no, no. What I mean is such and such. And I'm like, okay, so he was angry at you, but how do you know he was angry at you? Oh, because he was shouting. Okay, when you say shouting, how loud was it? So we can kind of come to a place where we now have a neutral description of what happened, and we can say, okay, that really sucks. So is this something you want to put up with or not? And you can sit in this safe space and debate with yourself whether you want to put up with this shit or not. So that's what I really, really recommend. If you are in a difficult relationship with a person, or you're in a difficult clinic, or you are really, really struggling because you feel like nobody respects you and you're being belittled, I cannot recommend more that you get a coach or a therapist. I mean, I sit here on my high horse and I'm teaching you. I haven't coached myself. Like I still go to my coach and I complain about something that happened to me, or I say I'm so stressed and I don't know why, and they help me get a perspective. And often my clients, they will resign and just stay with me and maybe just end up, getting coached once a month or once every 3 weeks or whatever they need, because things just tend to accumulate and then they start doubting themselves again, and then they just quickly come in for that outer perspective and we tidy up a few things, and then they can go off again. That's what I recommend. So then my 5 tips are: trust your gut, learn how to do that again if you lost that, which most of my clients have, myself included. Take care of your physical form in whichever way you want to do that, so you can stand tall and have broad chest. Breath work and pausing. Self-awareness, we analyze this work, either written or make an audio talking to something. And then if you're in a situation that's difficult for you, get coaching or get therapy, whatever you need to get that help. Someone external that is not close to you to give you a perspective and make you have a support that's external. And of course, I more than recommend myself because I have been in that situation. I've literally been in any situation in the veterinary industry you can imagine. I've been an owner, I've been an employee, I've been a locum, I've been, a contract, day vet, night vet, you name it. I've been everything. So I feel I can relate, and that's what clients tell me as well. I can really relate to what they're telling me, understand them very quickly. So at least you don't have to explain the whole, there was a stomach torsion and I didn't have enough staff and my boss didn't understand me. You don't have to explain stomach torsion to me. That said, I do know that a lot of therapists or coaches that have nothing to do with VetMed and they can still help because they don't need that explanation, right? So, um, you have to find someone. I should probably do a whole episode of this, but when you find a healthcare provider, a mental health provider, say a coach or a therapist or whatever it is, a yoga teacher, you just need to find someone that you click with. So I know a lot of people that have been in therapy or have tried coaching and they're like, oh, no, that it doesn't work for me. But that's because you haven't found the right person. It's a bit like, when you get a doctor that just doesn't listen to you and there's just no chemistry. Well, you want to change if you can, right? If you NHS or whatever system that applies to you you can change it, right? You don't have to, just like you wouldn't take your own pet to a vet that dismisses you and you don't understand that there's no chemistry. Like for yourself, if you're looking for a mental health care provider, don't don't just give up because you had 1 or 2 sessions and it didn't work and you didn't feel either validated or heard or you didn't feel like it was helpful. Find someone else because for sure there's someone there out for me. Happy if it's me, also happy if it's not me. I just want you to get the help you need. And also saying getting help, I find it's triggering. I find it's triggering saying, oh, you need help because it sounds like you're sick. And that's not the case. It's more like, I don't know, having a cool aunt that you can visit because maybe your parents are having a fight and you can go and speak to this amazing aunt that can give you cookies and a cup of tea. That's more how I see it. That's not like getting help. It's getting that support, having that, you know, feel that you've got someone on your side, but they are not biased and they are not, you can tell them anything because they don't, it's not that they don't care, but then you don't hurt them by telling them that you're hurting. That's what I want to say. I cannot emphasize this enough. Work on the four things. And if you are in any doubt on that, find a coach, find a therapist. And I am available for one-on-one clients now. You can find the link to a free consultation with me where we literally go through this. And I can say, look, this looks like a challenging situation. I would love to support you. Then you can stay on with me. Or I can say, okay, so these are the steps, these are the things, here's like all the tools I can give you that works for you specifically, and then you can try on your own. So don't hesitate to reach out for that free consultations. Like I said, I'm still taking one-on-one clients on, although I'm getting busy with webinars, workshop courses, it all starts kind of rolling. And I don't know, I do like working one-to-one, so as long as I can, I'll definitely keep taking one-to-one clients, because that's the fun when you sit there and you're like picking at the brain and seeing what's going on and finding a plan together and finding like a structure you can work on, so you can find out where you are and what you want to do and what's exactly is going on. No, I think that's a cool thing. Like I think I'd still love VetMed, but I think my brain is definitely more inclined to being so fascinated about human brains and how we work and how easy it is to get ourselves into a pickle, and also how easy it is to get out again if you have the right support, right? So the link to a free consultation is in the show notes. Don't hesitate, reach out if you want any resources, you have any doubts, any questions, you can just reach out to me. And also, please, 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 if you have any doubts, any questions that you want me to address on a podcast, there is a link in the show notes to a little questionnaire. It's super quick, but you can quickly type in, oh, Cornelia, can you address this? I want you to talk about this. And I will address it on the podcast. I'll do a whole episode just for you, not mentioning your name if you don't want me to. You can make it anonymous. So please do that. I would love to help you in any which way I can. And I do it here for free, or you can, pay for coaching, whichever way. I just want to help. Take care. Have a good week. Bye.